Prefab boxes in the Arctic, once even floated for a year on a leaky barge somewhere in China. But nothing, I mean nothing, has ever hit me like my patch of land on the Oregon-California line. 40 acres of wild, stubborn trees, a creek that never does what it's told, and an old wooden bridge that looked ready to collapse if you so much as sneezed in its direction. Yeah, that bridge was history, built in the 60s by some grumpy loggers, barely standing by the time I came along. But to me, it was love at first sight. The bridge became my obsession. After working in war zones, you develop a certain paranoia about structure, so I spent months, rain, snow, whenever I could spare a hand, rebuilding it. Steel braces, tension rods, pressure-treated redwood. Even a custom load sensor that pinged my phone if anything over 10,000 pounds rumbled across. Overkill? Sure, but old habits die hard. That bridge was the lifeline between my world and the outside. On the far side of the creek sat Riverpine Bluffs, your classic HOA fantasyland. Perfect lawns, identical mailboxes, and enough rules to make the military jealous. My place was never part of their little club, thank God. I aimed to keep it that way. At first, we got along fine. Kids skipping rocks, a few friendly waves, nothing worth remembering. But nothing stays quiet forever. Riverpine started growing. Permits, new homes, big dreams. The official road into their new section was a joke. 7 miles of switchbacks, so slow even raccoons wouldn't bother. I knew it was coming. Sure enough, 3 of them, matching polos, fixed smiles, showed up on my porch. Karen Delaney, HOA president, led the charge. She'd done her research. Mr. Emery, we noticed your bridge connects straight to our development road. We'd like temporary access for construction vehicles. She said it like she was offering me pie. I just stared, coffee in hand, and said, not a chance. That bridge isn't certified for commercial traffic. It's mine, not the county's, not the HOA's. Mine. She smiled, nodded, too polite by half, and left. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, I spot heavy tire marks across my bridge, broken planks, flakes of concrete. My phone had buzzed during the night, a weight spike. I put up a monster sign, private bridge and commercial access, trespassers will be recorded. I linked the sensors, locked down every angle. I wasn't looking for a fight, but I also wasn't about to let my hard work get trashed by folks who saw my land as a shortcut. That night, I stood out there with a flashlight, listening to the creek, feeling that gut-deep tension I knew too well, the kind that means trouble's coming. It didn't take long. Midnight alerts, 12,000 pounds, then 17, then 22. By the end of the week, my phone was blowing up. I checked the cameras, caught a white flatbed, R&B development stamped on the door, rolling over my bridge, disappearing into HOA territory like they owned the place. Not even hiding it. I wrote a cease and desist, attached camera stills, hand-delivered it to the HOA office. The secretary handled it like it was radioactive. 2 days, no word. Then another hit, 30,000 pounds. By Friday, I'd had it. I parked my old John Deere right at the bridge. Chained the wheel for good measure. That night, bourbon in hand, I watched the cameras. The bridge sat in moonlight, creaking quietly, until 2 a.m. My phone buzzed, overload detected. 37,000 pounds. The same R&B truck, headlights cutting through the mist, concrete panels stacked high. I watched as it inched forward. One of my tension rods let out a scream. The right side of the bridge split, and the truck just dropped. Half its body vanished into the river with a noise you could feel in your teeth. I sprinted down, driver already standing in the water, staring at his ruined truck, concrete cargo bobbing downstream. What the hell kind of death trap is that? He yelled. I just pointed at my sign, said, private access. You missed the memo. He trudged out, swearing he'd call his boss. I took photos, every angle. By sunrise, the sheriff was on scene. The driver claimed I hadn't blocked the bridge. HOA doubled down. By the next morning, a lawsuit arrived. HOA versus Emery. Negligence, endangerment, and, get this, they accused me of sabotaging a shared-use structure. Claimed I owed them $750,000 for their loss. I sat on my porch, reading and rereading, couldn't believe it. They blamed me for their trespass, their uninsured contractor, ignored every warning and denial I'd put in writing. They even included photos cropped to hide my warning signs. I saw right through it. This was never about the bridge. It was about rewriting the story. So I called Connor, my lawyer, a former Marine, a guy who doesn't flinch. Sent him everything. Photos, sensor logs, emails, even Karen's own words in one email. We'll find a way forward, one way or another. But the hits kept coming. A neighbor, Dennis, showed up. Handed me a flyer. Community under attack. Local landowner endangers lives. A petition against me was already racking up signatures. Half the names were nonsense. One was literally John McClane. They were waging war by rumor and fake news. That's when I realized this was never just about property. They were trying to break me down, flip the court of public opinion, make me the villain, before I could even fight back. So I started digging. That historic access agreement they submitted? Forensic analyst found the ink was made in 2012. The document was dated 2004. Wrong owner. No stamp, nothing. I piled up sensor logs, emails, drone shots, matched tire tracks to timestamps, every single violation documented. Found out their contractor's insurance expired 3 days before the crash. No coverage, all liability on them. Connor was thrilled, filed a countersuit for damages, trespass, harassment. $420,000 in restoration, plus punitive. Karen's side doubled down, petitions, fake testimonials, even doctored Facebook posts. But when you fight an engineer, you fight the receipts. I traced 70% of their petition signatures to the HOA clubhouse or Karen's own home. Bots. Fake accounts, you name it. The courtroom showdown was everything you'd hope. 3 lawyers on their side. Karen center stage. The judge already exhausted. Their evidence, cropped photos. The forged agreement, fake petition. Our side. Full video of the crash, sensor data, drone footage, forensic analysis. The judge didn't even hide his annoyance. When Connor revealed the ink forgery, the room went ice cold. Then he laid out the digital fraud. The judge grinned, said, "I suppose Mr. Emery is also responsible for those." Connor didn't miss a beat. Apparently he's quite the multitasker. Karen tried to save face, claimed good faith, blamed her contractor, said the petition was just community concern. The judge was having none of it. He issued an injunction. Shut down all use of my land by the HOA. 2 days later, their contractor vanished. A new group tried the same polite approach, requesting access with liability waivers. We shut them down, too. They pivoted to bureaucracy. Suddenly, I had county inspectors on my doorstep, anonymous tips flying in, environmental audits, permit checks, you name it. But I had every document, every compliance certificate, all ready to go. Meanwhile, I fought fire with fire, gathered statements from real neighbors, built a site with facts, exposed their lies online. Even got board emails, where Karen herself admitted to lightly curating the petition for optics. The last straw? County records proved their forged document was actually a septic tank permit for a property miles away. Connor filed for sanctions and fraud charges. The board started to crack. One member called, sounding nervous, asking if we could settle quietly. I told him I'd wait for the judge. Judgment day finally came, gray and heavy. The judge read the ruling straight, no drama. HOA's lawsuit, dismissed. Their easement, fake. Their petition, digital manipulation. My counterclaim, upheld. They owed $420,000 for damage, another $180,000 for trespass, and the contractor got hit with $130,000 for operating without insurance. Then came the cherry on top. The judge called out the HOA for systematic abuse and recommended criminal charges for forgery and fraud. The project was suspended, Karen's leadership was yanked, a court-appointed admin stepped in. Outside, Connor shook my hand, grinning. You didn't just win, you rewrote the HOA playbook. I rebuilt my bridge, better than ever. Steel columns, cameras, a new sign. Trespassers will be sued. Ask Karen what happened. For the first time in months, I felt real peace. 2 months later, a postcard arrived. No signature, just a hand-drawn goat in a hard hat. That was one hell of a bridge collapse. I laughed out loud. Maybe it wasn't the ending anyone expected, but it sure as hell was mine. And you know what? Maybe the lesson is, when folks try to rewrite your story, when the odds, the rumors, and the rule makers all line up against you. You don't fold. You dig in, you fight smarter, and you let the facts do the talking. Now, let's hear it. What would you have done if you were me? Where do you draw the line? Between neighborly and naive? Between peace and justice? Drop your thoughts below, because trust me, I'm not the only one with a bridge to defend.